All right, calling this meeting to order, Monday, October 28th, 6 p.m. Crosby, please do roll call.
Mike,
Here.
Jake,
Here.
Gail,
Here.
Dale,
Here.
Eric,
Here.
Vito,
Here.
Carolyn,
Here.
Craig,
Here.
Crosby here.
This is an open meeting and it has been posted. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, up first we have recognition from Parkview Middle School Employee of the Month.
Yes. So Jamie, would you mind coming forward, please? So tonight we have the honor of acknowledging Jamie as the Employee of the Month from Parkview Middle School. She is the building manager, and her nominators said the following. It's an honor to recommend Jamie Jessia, our building manager at Parkview Middle School, for the Employee Recognition Award. Jamie's dedication to ensuring that our school is always in top condition for staff and students is truly remarkable. Throughout the summer, she works tirelessly to prepare the building for the first day of school. Her daily efforts shine through the nearly 1,000 people who enter our building daily. During the school year, Jamie manages the building's day-to-day operations with unwavering attention to detail, ensuring that everything functions smoothly. Her willingness to go above and beyond to assist students and staff speaks to her selflessness and commitment to the school community. Whether it's addressing maintenance needs or offering a helping hand, Jamie is always dependable and exhibits a tireless work ethic. Jamie's hard work, dedication, and positive attitude make her a critical part of our school's success. We're incredibly fortunate to have her on our team. She truly deserves this recognition for her outstanding contributions to Parkview Middle School.
Jamie, congrats. You want to say a few things, Jamie?
Yes, I love working at Parkview. It's an honor to get this recognition. Thank you for putting this together, and it's really nice to be recognized. So,
Awesome. Congratulations.
thank you.
All right, we do not have any citizens' comments today, so we're going to move down to presentations. Parkview Middle School student presentation.
Thank you for having us. I brought 3 students here with me tonight, Abby, Annabelle, and Hannah, and I will let them introduce themselves. All 3 of them serve on our Student Government Leadership Board, and all 3 are 8th graders at Parkview.
Hello, I'm Hannah. I'm an 8th grader, and I am on the Parkview Middle School Leadership Board for Student Government. And today we are here to just share a little bit of what's been going on during this first quarter of our school year.
I'm Annabelle King-Terhorst, and I'm an 8th grader at Parkview, and I am part of the leadership board.
I'm Abigail Kutcher. I'm in 8th grade at Parkview Middle School, and I'm part of the leadership board too. Go me. Okay, so one of the things we do in our school is Web Day. It's the first day of school for all of our 7th grade students. And in addition to giving them a tour around the school, we help them meet new people, learn the rules, and learn skills that will help them be successful in the coming school year. To help run Web Day, 90 8th grade students volunteer lots of their time, including being there on Web Day and several hours and days prior to Web Day. They learn how to be web leaders and how to welcome and guide 7th graders on Web Day. Another thing we do at Parkview is Parkview in the Dark, which is an annual event where we invited kids from the community to celebrate the Halloween spirit. It's open to children ages 11 and under, and the event offers a fun, family-friendly evening in Parkview Middle School. As families walked through the building, they enjoyed seeing our decorated classroom doors, encountered 7th and 8th grade volunteers in costume, and collected candy at each stop along the way. Last Tuesday, we had hundreds of families in attendance. Another thing that we like to do is we do Spirit Days. So one of our Spirit Days recently was Pink Day. So on Friday, October 18th, we encouraged all students and staff members to wear pink. We did this to show support for all of those suffering from breast cancer, as October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Additionally, it helped bring us together and show school spirit.
So at Parkview, we do Mustang Roundup, and it helps students to familiarize themselves with the essential rules and expectations that are used daily at Parkview. On September 4th, we highlighted Chromebook usage guidelines, hallway and bathroom protocols, cafeteria rules, the cell phone policy, and bus procedures. The following day, September 5th, our focus shifted to the dress code, extracurricular clubs and sports, incentive programs like the Merit Award drawings, and strategies for staying organized using assignment notebooks. So this fall, we had many students participate in clubs and sports, which included cross country with 50 students, girls basketball with 25 students, gymnastics with 4 students, student government with 104 students, string choir with 25 students, web day leaders, 90 students, art honors, 30 students, yearbook club, 14 students, voices and girls in gold, 40 students, garden club with 5 students.
In September, we went Go Gold, which is going to be our chain drive. We ended September with our childhood cancer collection incentive sponsored by student government. As always, our students and staff demonstrated overwhelming generosity and empathy. It was heartwarming to see this display of kindness. They had one day to bring in money and wear gold to support childhood cancer. Thanks to their incredible efforts, we raised an impressive $1,162.31 during the single day collection. Homecoming Spirit Days. During Homecoming Week, we had a Spirit Day each day of the week to show school spirit. We had great participation by our students and staff. Go Gold was Wednesday, Red, White, and Blue Day was Tuesday, Jersey Day on Wednesday, Twin Day on Thursday, and Super Blue and Gold Day on Friday. Rooftop photos. On our Super Blue and Gold Day, we take our class pictures that get hung up in the hallways until those kids are seniors.
And then just a special thanks. The girls talked about the participation of students and staff. Just a special thanks to some of the staff members who helped organize those events. So as they shared, we have about 90 students that 90 students that are 8th graders that participate in our web day, which is our first day of school. I'd like to just thank Mr. Korth, Mrs. Nettesheim, Mr. Kopesky, and Mr. Chitwood as our 4 web day advisors. All 3 of these girls are also student government members. As I mentioned at the beginning, Mrs. Adams and Ms. Pozolinsky run our student government. We have over 100 students in student government. And the last thing I just want to highlight, if you didn't have the opportunity to either attend Parkview in the Dark on Tuesday night or drive by, the parking lot is busier for Parkview in the Dark than it is during the school day. We have hundreds of families, and it's a great opportunity for us to highlight our school district and welcome incoming students into the middle school. I think it's worked out really well as an unintended transition event for us, as we then have students transition into middle school a couple years later. They're no longer afraid of our building because they've been in our building for a couple of years, even just for a simple Parkview in the Dark event. So thank you to Mrs. Whitty for all the work she does. And again, that is a completely unpaid position. That is a self-nominated position that she just puts it on by herself with the help of many community organizations and businesses that support us. Any questions for the girls?
Well done, ladies. Thank you.
Did a very nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And up next, Luke, you can stay right where you are.
Just go into it.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you for having me, I guess, again tonight, just to share and talk about Parkview Middle School and all the things that are going on there that we are proud of. The girls talked a little bit about all of the extracurricular and activity things that are occurring. I'd also like to spend some time talking about the academic opportunities. So these are just some pictures of our wonderful kids. Tom, if you could move on to the next slide. Last spring, we received recognition from Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is an organization that helps schools put on STEM programming. Last year we received recognition as a PLTW Distinguished School. It was the 7th year in a row that we are recognized I don't think Dustin's here, but I think we're one of 5 schools in the state, roughly, that have been recognized 7 years in a row for the programming that we offer. That award is recognized based on the classes you offer, as well as student participation. But we offer PLTW classes because we know that it's hands-on experiences. It teaches kids problem solving, teamwork, et cetera. And those skills not only are beneficial in those classes, but those skills also translate to our science classes, to our math classes, to our reading classes, et cetera. So we're pretty proud of that award. So now let's talk about the core academics. Tom, if you could flip the slide for me. I just want to talk to you, I guess, about our academic story here over the last 5 to 6 years and how our students have done on state testing. So this is our science forward exam trends over the last 4 years. You'll notice that there's not a score, actually not on this slide, but on the next ones, you'll notice that there's not a score for 2020 because we didn't take the test during COVID. But so the science trend there, last 4 years, we've gone from 60.4% up to 65 here that came out over the summer. Next one, Tom, thank you. This is our social studies trend. So in the 4 years, we've gone from 56.5% of students proficient to 80.8% of students proficient. Just to point out, both the science and social studies exams are 8th grade only at Parkview. So English and math we take every year. Science and social studies we only take in 8th grade at the middle school level. So that is, again, our trend over the last 4 years in social studies. Tom, if you could switch. This is our ELA trend. So again, this is the one I was mentioning. There is not a 2020 score there, but we've gone from 56.1 back in 2018 to 67.4 this last spring. I think what you'll notice there a little bit is a dip that happened coming out of COVID, but we are pretty excited about the trend that has happened here in the last 4 years, going from 47% being proficient up to 67 here in the last spring. Last content area is math. So this again is our math trend, again missing 2020, but we again saw a COVID dip there coming out of COVID in 2020, but we've gone from 45% roughly to 76% last spring. Tom, if you could switch the next one for me again, do please. I think sometimes it's easy to sit here and talk, and Ben would say the same thing if he was here. It's easy to sit here and talk about percentages of kids, but I think it's really important also to talk about that each of those kids is an actual student in our building. There's an actual name attached to those numbers. So when we talk about 45.1% of kids and we're moving it up to 76.8% of kids, that's roughly 172 kids that have different outlooks based on where kids in our building were at 7 years ago. So as I told our staff when I welcomed them back in the fall, that's 172 students that have a different outcome, a different outlook, and a different trajectory due to the work that the staff in our building has done. So we're pretty excited and pretty proud of that number. Not as close to 100 as we always want it to be, but I also think we need to look at the hill that we've already climbed and be proud of that as well. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, Luke, what's the magic formula? What in all these categories, quite the growth. What's the magic formula? What would you say is the biggest change?
Pretty sure it's when I got on the board. Oh, sorry.
The people. I think when you have the right people doing the right work, the hard work, and you have kids that are engaged in the work, and you have families that support the work that we're doing, magic can happen. And I think we've done that over the last couple of years. I think even when you look at the COVID dip, one of the things Stephanie Blue told me when we were sitting in COVID is, when we get out of COVID, we need to make sure that we have our people still with us. Because if we end COVID and we come back to a new normal and we don't have our people, we're starting over. And that has stood with me. And I think that's true. We certainly, as Rachel has shared with the board, have lost some wonderful staff members over the last couple of years. But a majority of our staff members have stayed and done an awesome job of doing heavy lifting for kids. I think when we talk about curriculum revisions, and the board considers those too, a lot of those, when I look at every single one of these content areas, we've done a curriculum revision in every single one besides science that's currently going on. But I think we owe it to our kids, we owe it to our adults to continue to give them the resources necessary to do the job that we're asking them to do, and giving them the time to do that. I should add that piece too. But yeah, I think it's the people. We have great staff.
I think one of the things I saw last year touring the school with Stephanie was seeing the math team work on their off hour, working as a team, and I believe they were diving into a test. And they were going over, looking at what questions were wrong and trying to figure it out. And was the question asked wrong? Are we teaching this wrong? And they're really, really diving into the curriculum and trying to find the answers. So I think that's plays a big role in it when they work as a team.
Yep, so all four of those teams, what Dale is referring to as our science team, our social studies team, our math team, and our English team, all have a common planning period every other day where the teachers can come together, as he talked about, and not only talk about what they're teaching going forward, but also talking about what they've previously taught and how it went. So Dale, I think, is referring to, he watched the team talk about a test that they gave and what kids were successful on, what kids were not, both what content the kids weren't successful in, but also what kids weren't successful. And when you can have that conversation and then help reteach and close that gap, you can close the gap for kids and make sure that you're bringing all kids with you, not just some kids with you. Going on here, in a couple of weeks, we receive our DPI accountability report cards from the state here in the middle of November. Those report cards are based on achievement growth, low achieving students, and our attendance and graduation rates. If you could flip that for me, please. These are our trends over the last 6 years. So 2017, 2018, we were at 71.9 in the 46th percentile of middle schools in the state. 2018, 2019, our score increased, our percentile rank also increased. 2021, we went to a 70.4, which was 56th percentile, 52nd. We went down a little bit there. And then 2 years ago, we went up to a 74.8 in the 74th percentile. And last year, we took a rather significant jump up to 80.9 in the 90th percentile. So one of Dr. Cook's goals that he always talks about is being in the top 10% of schools, districts, et cetera, in the state. And we are excited to be close to that last fall. Our new score here will come out in 2 weeks. We anticipate that we'll be close to that same range again, plus or minus some amount. So if you go to the last slide, just talking about going forward here. We have 2 goals at Parkview for this school year. Our goal number 1 is an academic goal. We'll increase the percentage of students scoring at or above advanced or meets expectations on the Wisconsin Forward exam in all 4 content areas: English, math, science, and social studies. When we set this goal, we were actually thinking a little bit about the high school goal. Historically, at the middle school level, we've really focused on math and English goals. But we know that when kids get to the high school, when they're talking about an ACT score, the ACT goal is really all 4 content areas. So we thought it was important for our students to also be representing all 4 of those content areas to ensure that they are ready for the high school. What are we going to do to get there? Some of the things Dale already mentioned, but I want to add a couple more. One is the board approved us to change our schedule going for this year. So we added math minutes because our math trends weren't quite as exciting as our English trends. So this year we added some math minutes for our students. We have a new science curriculum coming here in science. They're piloting right now. Also in English, they're piloting a curriculum as well. Bullet point number 3 is what Dale was talking about: common planning time and professional development for teachers around instructional strategies, assessment practices, and student data. And then the last bullet point, I guess I would just say, and that goes off of what Dale said too, is just targeted instruction to meet the needs of all learners. One of the things I think when you ask what has changed in the last 7 years, one thing that I left out of that answer is we know more about kids than we've ever known before. Both from when they enter our building, we have 5-6 years worth of data. So if we don't know, I don't know every kid when they walk into our building, but I have access to what their educational story is. Like, I can look up any kid in our building and say, yes, this student struggled with this. I had a parent meeting this morning, and I could walk into that parent meeting with the last 7 years worth of data of how that kid has performed, what they've struggled with, what they've been successful with. I know data doesn't always tell the full story. Like, there's a social emotional piece of what kids bring as well, but that is so helpful for teachers, school counselors, administrators to know who our kids are when they're walking into our building. Likewise, we're able to better help them at a sooner calendar date, for lack of a better phrase. I think it used to take us till maybe first semester when we only have kids for 2 years and we lose a semester because we're getting to know them. That's a quarter of their time at Parkview Middle School. Now when we have this data with kids coming in, we're able to put kids in intervention within a month of them being there. So they take a screener test in our building, a math and reading screener test, about 2 weeks into the school year. From that, we meet right away with our interventionists and we figure out what kids need that intervention or what kids could use the extra push. So both of those things have been helpful. Goal number 2 is a behavioral goal. So during the 24-25 school year, 5% or less of students will receive 6+ discipline referrals. So this is the first year we've really done a behavioral goal. And I want to give a little background on behavioral goals and how our students are performing. I think sometimes when students hear middle school students and middle school behaviors, they get really worried. I want to assure you we have fantastic kids. And I will show you those first 3 bullet points to show you how fantastic they are. So last school year, 82% of our students received 0 or 1 referrals. Another 12% received 2 to 5. So I'll stop there for a second. That's 94% of our students who I would say are students who made 0 or a few mistakes. These are teens, these are adolescents who are going to make mistakes because that is part of the learning process. So I'm incredibly proud that most of our students, 94%, make 0 to a couple mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and are successful children. And I think that is a huge compliment to them. We have 6% of students who make more than a couple mistakes. I'll say it that way. And we understand that when students have discipline or behavioral issues, that not only impacts them, but at time that impacts the learning of other students and the teaching that the teachers are trying to do. So when we look back to the previous slides of academic growth, we know that academic growth happens when teachers are able to teach and students are able to learn. So our goal is to, for lack of a better phrase here, the goal is to limit the number of disruptions that are occurring in our classroom. So what are we doing about that? That work has started before the school year even started. So as an office team, we called and met with parents before the school year even started. Again, we have not only academic data on kids, but we have behavioral data on kids as well. So we were able to see what kids started or struggled in the elementary schools. We were able to connect with some of those families before they stepped foot in our building. We also knew our 7th grade students who struggled as 7th graders and were now 8th graders, and we could reach out to those families to help those students get successful starts to the school years as well. We had a PD day on Thursday, and we met with teachers on those days too and talked again about those students and how their school year has started. One thing that we've tried to do a better job of is continue to teach and reteach behaviors. So when the girls behind me started by talking about our Mustang Roundup, we do spend the first couple days talking about how to behave, how to act. But one of our struggles or failures in the past has been we don't do enough of reteaching that. We don't come back to that enough. We think that when we teach it on the first day of school, the kids know it, and then we never need to talk about it again. They're middle schoolers, and that's not true. So we've tried to do a better job of reinforcing that. So in the middle of October, last week we spent a day reminding students what side of the hallway to walk down. That sounds so simple, but when we stay on the correct side of the hallway, we end up having less garbage. We end up having less kids accidentally run into each other. We have less fights. Like all those things happen when we can just do simple things. And then the last bullet point up there is really just about engagement. We know when kids are engaged in what they're learning, the behaviors also are less, right? When kids are doing the work that we're asking them to do, when they're talking with their peers and collaborating, we know that behaviors are pretty much non-existent. So how do we find the students who are not engaged, and how do we re-engage them? That is an ongoing goal that we have. And then the last slide, if you would please, Tom, just a thank you. So this kind of goes to Craig's question, I guess. Thank you to students for hard work, curiosity, engagement. Our students are always fantastic. Our staff is dedicated. They collaborate, as Dale said, and they have a difficult job, and they walk in every day with a smile on their face doing the best job they possibly can do. And then also, I think, to the community, we have great support from our families. We have parent-teacher conferences the last 2 weeks. We had a fantastic turnout, and I sent a survey to families after that asking for feedback, and I really appreciated what they told us about what went well in the night, but also some ideas of things that we could do for the future, which would make the night better for students and families. And then the last chart on the right is just our rank in the state of where our middle school ranks compared to other middle schools in the state. Every year, the total number of middle schools in the state changes a little bit, whether schools or districts consolidate, et cetera. But that number is roughly 360 to 370 middle schools in the state. So we've gone from 202 in 16-17 to number 37 last year. So again, 370, our goal is to be 36 or lower. So this year will be hopefully roughly in that range as well, but still some work to do, but we're proud of the work that we've done. Any questions? I brought Lee with me to answer them.
I don't see any. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to consent agenda. We're looking for the approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of October 14th, 2024, and approval of vouchers and receipts. Anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, it is approved by consent. We are going to move down to finance and facilities topics.
All right, so I just gave you, in the director's report, just an update on the budget. I'll give that to you at every board meeting. Everything looks okay? No concerns?
No.
All right. Next thing that I had then was just the Wisconsin Parental Choice program and just really private voucher costs. So as we certify our tax levy here later tonight, there's a part when we do our basic math for our revenue limit. We count the number of kids that attend public schools and live in our district boundaries. And this year we multiply that by $11,325. From there, we add in some adjustments. And the biggest adjustment is what we have on the screen right now. So I just want to highlight this. So really in Wisconsin, we, through property taxes, we fund two styles of education. We obviously are funding the public education in the Mukwonago Area School District, and then students who live here and attend private voucher schools. Just for comparison purposes here, I picked three of our neighbors to show it's not unique to us, but in 16-17, we had a total of 7,323 additional tax dollars that was issued as a tax levy to our citizens to pay for what was likely one student. And then that grew to 27,000, then to 176,000. And you see the trend to the point where this year we levied just almost $1.5 million. And in essence, we're funding two systems of education, which can be costly to taxpayers. So these adjustments that we have on here, just for the sake of simplicity, if our school district ceased to exist, except for one task, and that task was to issue this tax levy, collect the money, and then forward it to the private voucher schools where these students attend, we could do everything to eliminate taxes and reduce taxes, but this is one part of it we can't do anything about. So I'm proud tonight that we're going to lower our tax levy by 0.5% here coming up. But this is just really a really explosive kind of hidden detail. I don't even know if it's hidden, but I'm trying to make it known that this is really expensive. So you're seeing all school districts of these four that I'm highlighting here. This is an explosive part of the tax levy. Nothing we can do in this room here. Nothing. I don't think there's a decision you can make that could curb this, essentially. So it's worth highlighting here. So no actions needed, but at this time of year is when these numbers are made known to us, so I'm just bringing them to you right now. All right? That's all I got there.
Any questions? No, thank you.
All right.
All right, moving on to action items. Do we have any hires, retirements, and resignations? Okay, we don't have any. Transportation concerns.
All right, so we have three decisions here to make.
Okay.
First one I have highlighted on the screen here. We have a family that lives on Fox Street. You can see it on the map on the screen there. They attend Clarendon Avenue Elementary School. They are in the walker zone. There's sidewalks throughout. It's 25 miles an hour throughout. And they're looking for transportation. So this is something that historically our school district, this has always been a walking area of our district since we started. So do you guys want to kind of take action on these all at the end? How would you like to do that?
We can do them all together unless
All right.
somebody wants a specific one pulled out.
Okay.
Okay.
And then just as a review, the second one here, this is for a 7th grade student who lives on the west side of Phantom Lake. Their house is here. Their bus stop is on their own property. They want the bus stop moved from the edge of their property to the edge of their driveway. And then lastly, we have this stop here. That's Big Bend Elementary School is here on the right where my mouse is at. They want their bus stop moved 250 feet from where it is supposed to be scheduled here back to their driveway. So in all instances, we denied them. We feel that all are safe as can be, right? No unusual hazards really is the words I'll use on those. So final decision's yours.
Just so everybody knows, Craig Verts excused himself because of his personal connection to one of the parents. So we're looking for a motion on the transportation concerns.
I'll make a motion to deny all three of these requests.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Somebody go get first. Thank you. If you just give us a second.
That might be the least fun part of this job. Well, I'm glad we got by it, so we can move forward here. All right, so the next thing that we had then for action items is the rate of pay for our 4K community partners. So I'm proposing that we increase it by 3.3% or $100 to a total of $3,100 per student that attends our 4K sites here. So just so you know that in total, we have approximately 150 4K students attending our 3 community partners where there's all half-day programs. So there's the YMCA, Kids Connection, and Vernon Child Development Center. We spend, if we agree to this proposed total there, we'll spend $360,000 to the 4K partners to educate our students. And then an additional $102,000 on parent contracts as they provide the transportation. So the cost of students attending 4K sites is $462,000. If we were, the question that it might be in your heads right now is if we brought those students in-house, what would the savings be or what would the difference be? So the answer to that really kind of comes down to we have some full-day 4K, we have some half-day 4K. What's it going to look like? But if we were to bring, these students who are currently in a half-day program, and we have 160 students, 150 students. So if we're just roughly in sections of about 20 students, we would need 4 teachers teaching 8 half-day sections. So the cost would be about the same. But obviously, if we increase these half-day 4K arrangements to full day, there would be a little bit more of an investment there. But just bringing that up there for your information only there. So at the end of the day, I guess the action I'm looking for you guys to potentially take is to increase this amount to help them deal with their growing costs. We all have it.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal for a 3.3% increase.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to the 24-25 tax levy.
All right, so I'll just quickly go through this here. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, so if there's questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll move quickly through this here. So starting with the tax levy, we'll do this through roll call vote here. The proposed tax levy has not changed. It's what we talked about in August. It's what we brought to the voters at the annual meeting in September. And that grand total of $32,311,580 has remained unchanged for 3 months now in a mill rate of $5.82. I'll walk through those here real quick. So when we look at where does the mill rate come from, that first bar chart is ultimately governed by revenue limits. So once we develop our revenue limit, we find out how much the state is going to pay for, the remainder becomes a tax levy. So our mill rate is $4.39 for basically our operating needs. From there, we add on the Fund 39 levy, which is $1.13 this year. That can only be issued if and only if there's a successful referendum, which there was in 2016. We have a very small 3-cent mill rate for our community education needs, which, again, primarily is our 2 school resource officers at the middle school and high school. And then, again, I highlight those voucher students there because that's one piece that really should be in the far left column, but that's outside of our control, so I just kind of single it out there. Just in terms of a pie chart, again, you can see where the tax levy is coming from, or the mill rate impact. $4.76% of our levy is for our operating needs. 19%, that orange area, is to pay off our referendum needs. And then you can see that very small, almost not even on the screen, pie slice there for the community education, and then 5% of the tax levy is for the voucher students. $5.82, lowest mill rate in 30 some odd years of tax of revenue limit history, so it's really low. This is not final data. School districts around the county are finalizing their levies like we are right now throughout this week and in the coming days, but I've asked other business managers, what's your proposed levy going to be, even though it's not adopted, and what's that associated mill rate? So you can see at 582, We are tied for second lowest in the county in terms of overall mill rate. And just for illustrative purposes here, if we had our referendum debt paid off, which as far as the high school is concerned, it will be. Once that's paid off, and it will be by 2026, you can see what today, if that debt was paid off, where our mill rate would be. So really, in that sense, if we eliminate referendum debt and we're simply looking at our operating levy and really nothing more, you can see how low our mill rate would be, right? That's lowest in the county by a lot. It'll be one of the lowest in the state, really, really getting down there. So even with referendum debt, we're still lowest at a very, fiscally conservative county. All right, so that's the tax levy. Ultimately, we're looking to do a roll call vote here. You can see that the tax levy is a 0.5% decrease. Don't forget that $32,311,000, when we issue that gets prorated out to the 11 municipalities that are in our district, so the Village of Big Bend and Town of Mukwonago, et cetera. And then once they get their prorated share, ultimately each of those municipalities will receive a school levy tax credit, which is ultimately the state saying, hey, the school district issued a levy, let us buy that down a little bit further, and then you can issue the remainder out to your citizens. And that school levy tax credit is going to go up again here as this year. So taxes are down 0.5%, but the school levy tax credit will likely buy that down even more. So I feel that even with reassessments, the vast majority of our citizens, our residents, will see a decreased K-12 tax levy. Any questions? All right, so if anyone would like to
Crosby?
motion and second, you can roll call vote.
Yep.
Need a motion.
Yes, we need a motion, yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments for Tom?
Nice job, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Great
We were
job.
really close on the equalization aid. All that tertiary talk, it really got us somewhere, guys.
Was that your closest yet?
No, I got closer once upon a time. I was like within $3,000. I thought I was gonna keep getting better, but
So
nope.
Any other questions?
I know you're sick of it, Verts. I'm sorry.
Crosby, do a roll call vote, please.
Mike,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Vito,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Crosby, yes.
All right, motion carries. Moving on to the 2024-2025 budget.
Yep, so again, we do these separately because you may support one and not the other. So again, we'll do a roll call vote ultimately on the screen right here. This is just our summary budget here. Not much has changed again from what we did in August. A few things got finalized. A few grants were made known to us. So once those grants are awarded, we know the values. We have an associated revenue and a matching expenditure. We bring those in. Again, when we look at all the funds there, just in sheer expenditure size there, Fund 10 on the left is $65.7 million, and Fund 27 for special education is $11.7 million. Those two funds are clearly the largest here. And again, those are balanced budgets here. So as we go back here, largely unchanged. Again, just a very few small number of changes, but 99.5% of this budget is everything that we had talked about over the last 3 months here. So really, at the end of the day, we're anticipating these revenues in this column totaling $89.8 million, and these budget expenditures totaling $95.9 million. You can see the biggest difference between revenues and expenditures is in Fund 46. We know that between the new roofs at the high school, Clarendon coming up this summer, we just had those anticipated maintenance needs here. And we'll look, the one thing that's really not in here, which we'll do as a team in July, is if there's money left in Fund 10, we'll do a Fund 46 transfer, which we have the fund balance available in Fund 10 to do. If it's advantageous to our taxpayers, we'll look to make a transfer and replenish Fund 46 here. Other than that, though, everything's embedded in this budget.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 2024-2025 budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments for Tom? All right, hearing none. Crosby, do a roll call, please.
Mike,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Vito,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Crosby, yes.
All right, motion carries. Moving on to school safety drills.
All right, so, Joe, I'm sorry here, I have to ask this here. Did we provide these, or?
There was a late addition this afternoon to your file that has a summary of each of our schools' safety drills. Those were finalized this afternoon with some final signatures, so those were added in.
So again, we're just bringing to your attention that we have conducted all of our safety drills, in particular our school lockdown drills at each building in the month of September. That's something that we address, we take very seriously, and we're letting you know. Once we do those, we highlight, the concerns, the issues we might have had, and we tighten it up each and every time that we conduct those drills at every one of our schools. So just bringing those results just to you as a school board to let you know, yep, we did it, we took care of it, and we're going to continue to drill those things and get better at those things. So, in the past, we've just for formal acknowledgement, we've done this as an action item to say, yep, we are accepting these reports as submitted. So, kind of a formality, I guess. I don't think everybody does it this way. I guess just it's the way we've done.
I'll make a motion. We accept them.
All right, thanks, Vito.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Where are the reports? Because I just saw the memo, but I don't see the reports in there.
In the executive session.
Okay. I didn't see that down there. Okay.
Again, if you have any questions about that stuff, just reach out to us. We'll answer.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, superintendent's report.
Yeah, so we continue to move forward with the postseason in athletics. Last Friday, our football team won and moving on. Our volleyball team won their regional last week and is moving on. We've got other teams that are actively participating in the playoffs right now. I would like to congratulate Emma and the marching band at the high school for their 4th place finish at state. I believe it was 2 weeks ago now. But also they won the percussion award at the state tournament. So very good job and congratulations to them for that excellent performance. That's all I have this evening.
Joe, we also have the
Go Vito
cross-country
Jr.
teams, boys and girls, both made it to state. That's a pretty big deal.
Thank you very much. That's excellent.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Craig, what was that? That was who?
Boys and girls cross.
Boys and girls cross-country, both teams made it to state. That doesn't happen very often. That's a big deal. And I had one more, I thought. No, I guess I don't. Thank you very much.
We will have Mr. Trudell come and do a fall sports review, an activities review in December when the season has wrapped up.
Thank you for our 2 superintendent reports.
What did I miss? What happened?
I just want to
Good job, Joe.
thanks again to Luke and his staff. What a great job at the middle school. Great presentation, having the kids ready. Awesome. Thank you. All right, up next we have executive session. According to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, we'll be talking about professional and administrative staff compensation. Looking for a motion to close the open session and go into closed.
Make a motion to close the open and go to the closed.
Second.
We have motion and second.
All right, we'll switch it up here. Craig.
Here.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Vito.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Gail.
Yes.
Jake.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Crosby, yes.
All right, we are closing the open session and we'll We ready, Zach? All right. We are back in the open session at 7:18, Monday, October 28th. And we just came out of closed session.
Crosby
And-
wants to make a motion.
Are you going to say what it's for first, or you want me to?
Yes, you can make a motion and say what it's for.
All right, I will make a motion to increase the administrative and professional staff annual compensation by 4.1% for the 24-25 school year.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. We're looking for a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.